Hello everyone! I am so excited to present you what I draw with my new oil pastels. Please note that I am absolute beginner with this medium. This is just like my 5th picture I drew with them. So yeah, I'm very new to them. I'm still exploring all the possibilities, but I love it, I enjoy it, and I absolutely fell in love with this medium. So yeah, I will be doing much more of the drawings and coloring with them. There will also be a video very soon with my first impression on these oil pastels, where you will see how I use them for the first time, what are my thoughts and my feelings about them, and you will see me using them in the coloring book by Maria Trolle, and you will see how I drew my first 2 drawings with them. There will be also a picture of the 3rd painting, but the full and narrated process is now up on my Patreon and it will not be included in the first impression video. And I see so many options and so many possibilities and so many use cases where you can use these crayons, and it's very easy to use them. This whole page took me just 1 hour to finish, if I don't count choosing the pictures, for the references. Well, but the overall painting or drawing of the page, that took me just 1 hour, which is amazing and incredible. So as I said, I was searching for the references and I was searching Unsplash, which is a website where you can find like every picture you can imagine. Every time I seek for an inspiration or, for some reference, I go there and I just type in the keywords like the galaxy or the universe, and it gives you so many pictures. Then it comes the hardest part, right? To choose one to color or to paint or to draw. But this time I decided that I will not overthink choosing the picture. So I limited myself for very quick search. I had a general idea of what I want to do. I really wanted to do the Earth from space. And yeah, I wanted the whole page in the same theme. I divided the page on 3 parts. And there will be one different picture in each part. And I started with this beautiful view of our planet. And I started with the background. I maybe spent too much time on blending the black background. I know it's not so visible on the camera, but in real, I still had the feeling that it still needs to be blended, So yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's all the learning process. And for blending, I was using mainly paper tissue and Q-tip. I figured out that these 2 tools are the most suitable, at least for me. And also, of course, I was using my finger. I didn't pay too much attention to detail. So you may see that I just indicated some lights and I didn't do any of the details that are on the reference picture. I wasn't aiming to do a super realistic picture, I just wanted to enjoy the process, learn more about the oil pastels and practice with them and do something nice. Sometimes detail really doesn't matter. What matters is the overall image, the overall point, the message behind the picture. So I was just trying not to do too much mess around, especially around the lights. I just wanted them to be nicely clean and shiny. That was a little bit of challenge when I was trying to blend it, but the Q-tip was very helpful in this case. Also, I recommend to have a whole bunch of Q-tips by your side, so you can use as much as you need and don't make your light areas dirty. And as I was blending the planet, it started to look really round, which I was quite surprised of, but very nicely surprised. And yeah, the picture isn't detailed at all, but I just love it. And I think that this first frame is the nicest picture I draw with these oil pastels, at least until this moment. As you may see, I struggled a little bit with the edges of the lights because it was really hard to make the edges like not sharp but more diffused. So yeah, the lights are a little bit greenish. But this is the thing I like about oil pastels, and that you can layer them, and you can even layer light colors on top of the dark colors. So I was able to fix it a little bit. In the end of painting this picture, or is it painting or drawing if you are using oil pastels? I guess it's rather drawing, right? Not painting. You paint with a paint, and oil pastels are obviously not a paint. So just let's be clear about it. So at the end of this drawing, I add a little detail. I added a Starlink satellite train, the SpaceX. And there is not much pictures of them from the space. There are only pictures how you can see them from the Earth, like from the ground, you know. It was hard to find a picture, but there were one picture that was taken by an astronaut. I saw on that picture that they are not in the straight line. They seem to be in a straight line from the Earth. If you look up and see them, you see a straight line, but from space they are not. So I tried to catch the same placement on my picture. And you know, it's in all these small details that makes your drawing or painting or your creation special. Alright, I was done with my first picture, with my first frame, and now I wanted to have a galaxy in the middle. So I browsed the Unsplash again, and yeah, I have found this beautiful, colorful galaxy, and I just tried to draw it. So I was using various colors like the light yellow, dark yellow. I don't know the exact names of the colors, but I think you can see it and that it's clear from the picture. And I was also using the orange and red, and I was aiming for something like a smoother transition. I was also using, this was I guess the red ochre or the color like that, because on this part of the picture the galaxy was like in a very dark red color. But I have a set of only 48 pastels, so I didn't have the exact shade, so I was using brownish color, brown-red color. And then I was using a black and blue colors because they are just on the picture as well. At this point I was really curious how I will blend everything because it was so small. I was really afraid of getting a matte instead of a nice galaxy. But I kept applying the crayon, and in the end I filled the rest of the area with a blue and black color. Now here comes the blending. So I started from the lightest color, from the yellow. And on the picture like this, it's really important to change your Q-tips or your blending tool, because on this small picture you can easily make the light areas dirty. So I was doing small steps on the light area, on the yellow area, But then I decided I will try a paper tissue. So I fold it until I had tiny edge or the small edge. And again, I started from the center of the blue, from the lightest blue, and I blended each side separately. And I was trying to go from the lightest color to the black. And as you may see, I changed the tissue very often. Yeah, it didn't prevent me from getting this part dirty, but it's okay because you can use a clean Q-tip to pick up the unwanted color and then use the same light color over it, and it will help to manage to have a clear picture. So I was blending and repairing the whole section, and the more I progressed, the better and easier it was. So yeah, it's just about a practice. Don't worry to try new techniques, even though you have never tried that before, because how else you want to learn how to do it, right? It's all about practice, and yeah, so just go for it. And remember, in oil pastels, at least to my current knowledge, same as in watercolors, there is a fix for almost every mistake. And yeah, I mean it. I mean watercolors as well. I am doing watercolors for quite a long time now, and I painted a lot of pictures. I did a lot of mistakes, and it's really not that unmanageable medium as everyone always says. And somehow oil pastels reminds me of watercolors. I don't know how. It's a totally different kind of medium, I know. But maybe it's in the way how I use them. I don't know. There is something that feels the same. It may be my enthusiasm for the medium as well, because both mediums have a huge place in my heart. Don't tell anyone, but I like watercolors more than pencils. But really, don't tell anyone. Yeah, as if you wouldn't know that already, right? If you look what I do on my channel, you can tell that I use watercolors a lot in coloring books. And not only in coloring books, also on my own paintings. So I did few more details in blending everything, and then I dilute a white gouache with water, and I was using a fan brush, and I created a stars. I tried to cover the upper picture, but somehow few splashes still got into the upper picture, but that's fine. It's all in the universe, right? So I also added a little bit of white gouache in the middle of the colorful parts, and that's our second picture. Let's do the third one. And yeah, I had a little bit of dirt on the third part, so I erased it. Well, you cannot erase oil pastel like for 100%, but it still helped to clean the section. And I was ready to do another look on the earth from the space, but maybe not from the deep space, because there is more of the Earth's surface visible. And as I said on the first picture, I wasn't doing anything realistic or like hyper realistic. It would be also very hard to achieve something like that with oil pastels, but not impossible. I saw pictures that looked like a photo, and they were done with oil pastels, so yeah, it's definitely possible. That's just not what I wanted to do, and also, as I said, this is just my 5th picture, so what would I want, right? Anyway, if I paint or draw from references, I like to add a touch of myself, or how to say it, a piece of myself, my soul, my style into the picture. I usually don't use references for capturing everything exactly the same way as it is on the photo or on the reference picture, but more for the inspiration and also for learning, because you cannot draw something you don't know how it looks like, and your brain will mystify you. You may think that you know how the dog looks like, you know, but if you don't have the reference, you will probably not have all the proportions well. I don't say it's a case for everyone, but it's more likely that your brain will give you just different information because, if you don't see it right now when you draw it, it's hard to imagine the full detailed picture. So that's why we are using references, right? There is nothing bad about it. Also, how I could draw a planet Earth from the space when I have never saw it. And I will probably never have a chance to it, you know. So yeah, of course, I have to use a reference picture. And all the big artists are using references. It would be the same like if you would paint a portrait of someone and you wouldn't look on the person. How would you catch all the details on his face? Or on her face? How would you catch all the hair details, the eyes or the skin and so on? So this is the same, right? Using a real life reference or a picture. So I just want to encourage all of you who are afraid of using references because someone said that it's bad and so on. There is nothing bad about using references. Overall, we all used references when we were learning how to write. How would you know how to write a letter A if you would never seen the letter A? And someone just told you, write the letter A, but if you look at how it looks like, you are not true, you are not real. So I am done with the whole page. As I said, it took me just an hour, which is mind-blowing. I'm so super proud of it. One last thing, I was using a varnish by Royal Talents. It's not because of the brand of the varnish. I use it on all my drawings and it works really great. There is only one thing that I didn't know, and I think that this is a thing of all the liquid varnishes. It's that if you apply it on top of the gouache, then the gouache will smudge. Just keep that in mind. Fortunately, it didn't destroy the middle picture. It gives the picture a little bit of movement. It looks quite good. But yeah, it could make a huge damage on some other picture. Alright, make sure that you will not miss my upcoming video where I will be talking about my first impression on these oil pastels. And you will see how I use them for the first time ever, where I already have few of them. And you can really be sure that I will have more and more drawings like that. And hopefully they will be better and better. And as I said, this is my 5th picture I drew, and I already have some drawings on my Patreon. Time to time, I will be publishing some drawings here on my channel as well, but the painting and drawing videos will be mainly for the Patreon. So if you like, you can check it out. You can also join as a free member. Sometimes I share something including the free members. Also, as a free member, you will receive a monthly update from what was going on inside the membership the previous month. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. I will really appreciate that. Yeah, have a meow someday and see you in the next video. Bye bye!